If you see a break in your lifeline, or maybe a short lifeline, you may have thought that this was bad luck or that you would die young. In this video, I am going to share with you what it really means, and we're going to do a healing activation to strengthen your vitality. So stop panicking about your lifeline, and we're going to talk about what palmistry books really get wrong. So we're going to talk about what your lifeline is and also what it isn't. We're going to look at 3 lifeline examples, and we're going to do a quick lifeline activation. Your lifeline, by the way, is located right here next to your thumb. And so go ahead and take a look at your own lifeline as we go through these examples. But it's going to start above your thumb and it's going to come down your hand towards the base of the palm. What we're talking about is when this line breaks or if this line is short. Traditional palmistry said that it was actually a death sentence or that you were going to have some physical problems in your life. And this is simply old ways of looking at the hands because all of your lines actually change. So we can look at it now from an ascension perspective, and we know that when we make shifts in our life, it is actually going to reflect through our hands. So your lifeline actually does not tell you how long you're going to live, but it does show you your vitality and your stability, and it reflects your root chakra or your base chakra quality. So you can see if your root chakra is actually strong, how grounded are you, how safe do you feel in your body, all of those kinds of questions you can actually see reflected right through the base of your lifeline. Okay, so we're going to do some examples here. By the way, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cynthia Clark, and I've read for over 8,000 people in the last 18 years. And so these are some examples of actual people that I've read for over the years. Okay, so the first example I want to show you here is the lifeline. And as you can see, it comes down here and then it stops. Then we have this line right here, which is actually a fate line. And then we actually have another fate line, which is right here. Okay, so this is actually what we would call the lifeline fate line crossover. Okay, and I see this all the time on people's hands. And what it represents is that you are not going to die right here. Okay, that does not mean that. It means that your vitality, which is this lifeline, is directly influenced by your career choice and your direction in life and how you are fulfilling your purpose. Okay, so this person, also we look at the hand shape and the archetype. This person has short fingers and a rectangular palm. This is a chariot hand. Okay, so fire combined with a strong Jupiter finger or index finger. Okay, so by the way, we have 16 basic archetypes that can show up. And that is also going to impact how I read a lifeline and what I would recommend for each person. Okay, so in this case, I would say that this person, because they're a chariot, they need to stay busy and they really need to find a career that is in alignment with their passion. Okay, chariot types are go-getters, they're high achievers, and they like to have a lot to do and share. They're naturally good at educating others and guiding others. Okay, now the fact that this person has a very strong fate line right here, right? This is the crossover. And then they have another one. It looks to me like they're going to change careers more than once, but they are on a pathway of alignment with their archetype. Okay, so For them, I would recommend that they really pay attention to their work. Okay, let's look at the next one. Okay, here's hand example number 2. All right, now this is a very different hand shape, right? We've got an air hand. Okay, these are long fingers. This is a square palm. And the strong finger here is actually over here, Apollo, which is the ring finger. Okay, so this is a temperance hand, really straight headline, which represents really logical thinking. And the lifeline is narrow. Okay, so we can tell that, by the way, by how far out into the palm it goes. Okay, so a lifeline is considered narrow when it falls on the inside of this middle finger. Okay, so most people's, if it's an average lifeline, it'll actually come out more like this, and it will stop somewhere around the middle point of the middle finger. Okay, so a narrow one would be inside this, which is what this one is. It's closer to the thumb. Okay, so a narrow lifeline is an indication that this person is risk averse and they really have a hard time taking a risk. And they are going to analyze it to death, essentially. For this person to really have a good vitality, okay, so we see the quality of this lifeline here. It's got just this little bit of almost like a Y shape, right? So this is actually connecting in with their Mercury line, but their Mercury line gets all tangled up and shredded essentially over here. It's not strong. So this person is really not tuning into their intuition the way that they should. And so they might not be doing some of the things that could be good for them to strengthen up their vitality. Now, their vitality is not bad, but again, we want to see how can they strengthen it up. As a temperance person, they need to be doing some breath work and they need to get out of their monkey mind. Okay, so I would be talking to this person about what are their limiting beliefs and why do they not trust their intuition. Okay, so we'd be looking at that. Okay, and that could strengthen up this lifeline. Okay, let's go to the next one, example number 3. Now, this one I thought would be interesting for you because this person is actually missing part of a finger and they're missing part of their index finger or Jupiter finger. Okay, so this hand shape, we're going to look at the length of this middle finger versus the palm. And what we have here is a long finger, okay, relative to the palm. And we have a rectangular palm. So this is water, okay? And I would say this middle finger gets some extra strength now because obviously this finger is totally shot. And we have what we would call the justice archetype. Okay, so let's look at this lifeline. Okay, so water hands are very adaptable, but we've got a serious restriction here with this finger missing. I consider this a life lesson, by the way, when a finger gets cut off. All right, but again, it's not a death sentence. We want to bring it into the positive of what is the opportunity. This is an ascension opportunity for each person. So, ultimately, your hands have that roadmap and they can teach you exactly what it is you can do to strengthen your life, to strengthen your vitality, to really move in a positive direction. So, yes, this person here has a weak root chakra. Okay, this is a fade out at the base of the lifeline. Okay, now this used to be considered a death sentence when we would see this. And here I've blown it up on this side so you can really see the lifeline is strong and then it really fades out. Okay, what do we recommend for this person? Okay, they're water and they are justice. Okay, so they need to look at what happened where they lost this finger and they felt like their power was taken away from them. Okay, because Jupiter is your power finger. So I would be talking to them quite significantly about power giveaway, power struggles, boundary issues are a big problem with water hands. And how can we strengthen that up? And so this root chakra is asking for this person to come back into harmony with their water element. So they need to be more flexible, more adaptable. They need to set up some good, strong boundaries, and they need to connect to their water element. So I would recommend emotional healing, emotional release. That is absolutely going to help this person in a big way. All right. So we're going to do a little balance next. And I actually received a message recently from the Syrian High Council. So, by the way, another thing that I do is I channel different galactics, I channel different archangels. I do it through a process called automatic writing. And so I've been doing this for a really long time. I've actually been meditating for about 25 years now. And when I go into meditation, I receive messages while I am in a semi-trance state, and I will write out answers, not even to questions necessarily, but I'll just get information from different higher dimensional realms. So one day recently, I got a message from the Syrian High Council, and they are so much fun to talk to because they always give me good healing advice. And so I'm going to just read to you a little bit about what they said regarding the Lifeline, because they actually came in and gave me a message about the Lifeline. Okay, so this is what they said. This is the Syrian High Council here to speak with you today. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to us, for we are in the mood to share information about the Lifeline calibrations that you may benefit in greater vitality. The Lifeline associated with Earth element represents your connection to the Earth. When it is short or weak, it shows a lack of body connection. Okay, so this is a really great comment because it is the physical representation of our body connection to the planet. So, yes, a weak lifeline can indicate that you are not feeling your connection to your purpose, not feeling connection to the earth, not feeling strong enough or vital enough to actually fulfill your destiny and what your soul came here to co-create. So this is why the Syrians came in, and they wish to assist us in strengthening that lifeline, regardless of what your lifeline looks like. By the way, I want you to look at your own lifeline and put in the comments, upgrade, if you are ready for this upgrade that we're going to do right now. Okay, so when I do different healing activations, by the way, they usually give me an invocation, right? Because our voice is our declaration and it ties in with our willpower. So we can choose to connect to this energy or not, right? Because you have free will. And that's also what the lines represent. They represent the free will aspect of your hands. Okay, now we have a soul aspect, which is fingerprints. We have a hand shape aspect, which is the archetypal aspect. So those are the subconscious influences, which I briefly touched on in this video. But what I want you to get out of this is that no matter what your lifeline looks like, it is not a death sentence. It is not a problem. It is not bad luck. It is none of those things. It is there to teach you about yourself. And if you're interested in learning more about this, is the type of work that I do. And I love to help people understand their ascension possibilities. All right, so let's go ahead and do this quick little activation right now. By the way, I love those Syrians because they like to bring in the whales. Okay, so whale frequencies help to anchor different neural pathways and different energies in our biological system. So based upon their advice, we're going to be doing the humpback whale, and I'm also bringing in my planetary tuning fork, and we're going to do the sun. Okay, because I chose this one, by the way, because most people are strong in their ring finger. Okay, now you may or may not be strongest in that finger. That's this one right here. And that's okay. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about that today. But I want you just to feel the frequency and put your left little finger. Okay, so we have portals. Each of our hands also holds these portals to your multidimensionality. And each finger connects to a different aspect of your healing. We're going to connect with our left Mercury, which is our left little finger. I want you to just place that on your heart. And we're going to envision the symbol here. This is the symbol for left Mercury. Go ahead and just place that symbol on your left little finger as well. Okay, and we're going to do this invocation together. So repeat this after me. Left Mercury, portal open, so that I may anchor my divine birthright of healing. I now choose to anchor and strengthen my connection and my physical body to the earth, so that I have sufficient vitality to fulfill my highest potential. I ask Mother Gaia to hold me and keep me safe and secure in her heart, giving me strength, groundedness, and love to draw from any time I may feel uncertain or fearful. I now choose and claim my rightful birthright as a participant here on earth, and I am and shall fully be supported in my mission with anchored strength in all timelines and all dimensions now. Thank you, and so it is. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're interested in learning more, just go to ascension17.com for all of my courses, readings, and training opportunities. And until next time, I wish you infinite abundance, and let's ascend together.